Hey guys, so if you're watching this video, it's to help you study for your DCA number 1. I'm going to be working through the review problems in this video and giving really good explanations for them, so make sure your sound is on. This will be a great way to study for your DCA to make sure you're prepared tomorrow. So for number 1, they ask us to name the age interval for the graph where the number of teens grew the fastest. Okay, so where this graph grows the fastest is where the line is the steepest. So which part of this line increases the most on its interval? So hopefully you would look at this graph and you would see that would be this interval right here. And if you look down at the ages, because it's talking about the age, the interval would be from 16 to 17. So that is where that number of teens grew the fastest. So number 1 is super easy. No one missed this one. You guys got that one. You learned how to do that in like 5th grade. Number 2, if the sum of 3 consecutive even integers, so that's important. And remember, integers are just your negative and positive whole numbers. If the sum, which means we add them, right, of the even integers equals 78, they are asking us what is the largest integer. Okay? Alright, another important word in this question is the word consecutive. So consecutive in math and in life means that they're in a row. So we're looking for the sum of 3 even numbers in a row that equals 78, and then they want us to tell them the largest one of those numbers. So if I take 78 and I'm adding 3 numbers to get 78 in a row, and it wants x to be the largest, so I'm going to do v plus w plus x, just random letters in a row. I got these from the alphabet. I want to add those up and get 78. And they have to be even. So how many numbers are we adding up to get 78? 3. So if you guys would do 78 divided by 3, remember this is on the non-calculator. So 3 goes into 7 2 times. That'll give me 6, right? Subtract 6, I get 1. Bring down the 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times. And that makes 18, so there's no remainder, right? So 26 is my middle number probably, because that is the average that I got when I divided 78 by 3. So I'm going to try putting 26 in the middle, which means the even number that comes right before 26 would be 24. And the even number that comes right after 26 should be 28. Now we want to make sure the 3 of these do add up to get 78, and if we do, then we can find our largest even number. So I'm going to come check these over here to the side. 24 plus 26 plus 28. 4 and 6 makes 10. 10 and 8 makes 18. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is in fact 7. So when we add these 3, we did get 78. So now, the largest even number in a row, the largest even consecutive integer, is which one? 28. Okay? So number 2 is just worded really difficult. Not even difficult, it's just worded weird. So if you can go through and dissect the problem, figure out what they want you to do, then we should be okay with solving number 2. Alright, number 3. What value of x satisfies this equation to make it true? So they're asking you what value of x, which means all they want us to do is to solve for x. So remember, you have no calculator here, so we've got to solve this by hand. I'm going to zoom this in. Alright, so your first step, solving equations, hopefully you drew your wall. Okay, then now when we get to this part, we're on the same side, simplify. So remember your solve steps, S-O-L-V-E. So my first step is to simplify stuff that's on the same side. So over here, I need to distribute because that 5 is multiplying by the x and the 3. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times a positive 3 is positive 15 equals, and then I want you to look at that right hand side. So as long as it's on the same side, we can simplify it together. So 6x and 1x are like terms. So if you do 6x plus x, you're going to get 7x. Okay, and then if you do 13, take away 1, you should get positive 12. All right, so we have just completed our same side simplify. So your next step, your O, is to combine anything on the same side, which we actually just did that in step 1 as well. So now I'm to L, where I'm trying to locate my variables and get them on the same side, okay? So I have 5x's here and 7x's here. Until I get those on the same side, I can't find x. So is it easier to move 5x's or 7x's? 5, and how do we move a positive 5x? You need to subtract it. Okay, so now I'm left with 15 equals 7x minus 5x is going to give me 2x plus 12. All right, and from here, locate x and cover it. So I'm going to cover my variable. So variable covered, what do I need to move? A positive 12. So you move a positive 12 by doing the opposite. What you subtract from one side, you subtract from the other. 15 minus 12 is going to give us 3 equals 2x. And then your last step to get x by itself, the 2 is touching it, which means they're multiplying. Opposite of multiplying by 2 is to divide. So x is going to equal 3 over 2. Now, I'm going to leave it just like this, 3 over 2, because we don't have a calculator, okay? So you don't have to simplify on your DCA. If you get 3 over 2, you can just type in 3/2. All right, number 4. So Ms. Harris's math class constructed a chart of the time spent studying compared to their test grades. The table shows the data collected. All right, and let's go ahead and annotate. So we're going to underline what it's asking. Which statement best describes the meaning for the rate of change? So hopefully you remember to find rate of change from a table. First, we have to find the pattern on both sides. And once we find that pattern on both sides, then the second thing we're going to do is y over x, the change in y over the change in x, okay? Because our slope is our rise over run, and remember, slope is the same as rate of change. So I'm going to go find my pattern in this table. So on this side, let's see, 66, 6 plus 2 will give me 8, 6 plus 1 will give me 7. So it looks like we're adding 12. And then on this side, 15 to 45, 5 plus 0 gives me 5. 1 plus 3 will give me 4. So it looks like we're adding 30. So my rate of change here would just be 12, which is the y's, over 30. But there's a problem. Do y'all see 12 and 30 in any of the answer choices? No, because this fraction is not reduced. It's not in simplest form. So the biggest number that can divide into 12 and 30, 6 can go into both of those. I've got to reduce it by hand because we don't have a calculator. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So there's where all the 2's and the 5's and the answer choices came from, okay? All right, now let's talk about our slope. We were adding on both sides, which means our slope was positive. So if it's positive, then you guys know from doing our line of best fit stuff that these data points are increasing. So we can go ahead and mark out C and D. And now we've got a 50-50 chance of picking the right one. So let's look at this again. The test score is the y. Does everybody see that in the table? The test score is the y. So the y values, if you look at your slope, the y values are on top. So the y values should be going up by 2. The x values are in the bottom and they should go up by 5. So the test score is going up by 2 when we simplify, and the time spent studying is going up by 5. So that would be B.